Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome back, Tag Pros followers. I'm Tess Bautista and I'm also back and I will be your host for today. Kumusta naman po kayong lahat? Okay, pwede po bang malaman kung taga saan po kayo? You may type the province, city, or place you are from in the comment section para makita po natin. O merong taga. Good morning din po. Okay, good morning, teachers. Okay, they are coming in. Good morning. Taga saan po kayo? Pakilagay po, pakisulat po sa ating chat box para makita po natin kung taga saan po kayo. Magandang umaga po. Pampanga. Wow. From Bataan. Okay? From Bulacan, Santa Maria, Bulacan. Meron ding from Muntinlupa. Okay, meron ding taga Sampaloc, Manila. Okay, welcome po sa inyong lahat from Antipolo City o Kababayan. Antipolo City rin po ako. Ayun. Keep coming. Taguig City. Wow. Sa BGC ba yan? Okay, there you go. So, sige po, ilagay lang po natin dyan. Good morning po sa ating lahat. Okay, we are back for the third session of our webinar workshop for Gabay, the teacher's sidekick. Okay, you know what? Tagpros is overwhelmed with the feedback you sent. You sent our team last week with Mr. Bugi's session. Thank you so much for your overwhelming reaction and acceptance of Tagpros Gabay. Rest assured that our technical team and even our CEO and all of us are working together, okay, and to improve. And we actually took note of all your feedback and comments, especially regarding the improvement of Gabay. We are very thankful for your honest feedback. We also took note of all your concerns about the ethical issues of using AI. And because of all those questions and feedback, we ask everyone's active participation as our speaker discusses all of these today. Remember, it was Spider-Man, I think. Okay, his uncle said, with great power comes great responsibility. When we put it in our digital world, it says with digital power comes digital responsibility. The age of AI is also the era where we must explore the ways in which it should be used legally and with integrity. So this webinar will guide us in using AI ethically as we are guided to know what are the good ethical questions to ask when using AI. Again, this event is brought to you by TagPros Education, an online K-12 education marketplace where passion takes the lead in learning, in partnership with UP Scale Innovation Hub, Pure Gold, and Gabay, the teacher's sidekick. Okay, for those who have been with us for the past 2 weeks until now, thank you so much. We are very grateful for staying with us. And for those who have just joined us and are very eager to learn about us, and especially Gabay, welcome and stay with us for many learning opportunities. Again, just a quick reminder to our participants, let's practice responsible digital citizenship and refrain from sharing personal information in our comment section, which includes, of course, your email address, don't share them, and your cell phone number or your GCash number. Okay, thank you so much. And before we move on to the webinar workshop proper, I think we had our raffle, the Pure Gold raffle, first part of our session with Mr. Christian Manansala. Okay? So I am happy to announce the winners from our raffle, okay, last 2 weeks, okay, during our first session. For your FB post that you shared, okay, regarding your reaction about what you participated in. Okay, our team actually already sent notifications to the 3 winners of Pure Gold e-vouchers, but only the first placer, okay, only the first placer responded and claimed her prize. Let's give a warm round of applause as we congratulate the first placer, Miss Hazel De Jos, who claimed already her 1,000 worth of pure gold e-voucher. Palakpak naman po dyan. Salamat. Oh. Yan po, nakikita nyo sa screen. Ang ganda ng kanyang naibahagi sa atin tungkol sa insight niya o yung natutunan niya mula doon sa session kay Mr. Manansala. Maraming salamat, Miss Hazel De Jos. Okay, but to those who attended the first gabay webinar with Mr. Manansala, kindly check your messages or your notifications. Probably, we have winners na. Oh, there. Mr. Urbano Vincent, the second placer. And our third placer is Miss Josephine Banhos. Congratulations. Okay, let's clap our hands for them. Okay, and keep stay tuned because we still have raffle. So saan ka pa makakita niya, no? Natuto ka na, okay, sumagot ka, at nanalo ka pa. Okay, so natutulungan tayo, no? So again, to all the participants here right now, we are requesting you to follow these simple instructions. First, be with us. Okay, watch the webinar workshop today. Complete the evaluation form at the end of our session later, and follow our social media pages, okay, especially our Facebook page. We are live on both Facebook and YouTube, so invite your family and friends to the live stream to learn more about AI and how to use them ethically. Okay, there you go. Now, let me introduce our speaker for today. Hindi ko na po kayo pahihintayin because I myself is very excited to learn from this. I'm very proud to be a friend of our speaker today. Francis Jim Toscano is an award-winning and esteemed Filipino educator, school leader, digital learning consultant, and author dedicated to empowering learners as critical thinkers and agents of change through transformative education and innovative programs. His works integrating the SDGs, Meaningful EdTech, Design Thinking, and PBL have received global recognition for its impact on sustainability and creativity in education in various international organizations. In addition to his educational leadership roles, Jim actively contributes to the education community. He serves as a member of the National Basic Education Commission of the Catholic Educational Association in the Philippines and provides advisory support to various education institutions and businesses all over the Philippines and overseas as well. Through his Empower Ed podcast, he engages in insightful discussions with educators, exploring challenges and innovative approaches. He is also the Chief Program Officer of our Tagpros Education. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to our virtual stage. He's already there, Mr. Francis Jim Toscano. Let's clap our hands. Thank you, Sir
Thank
Jim.
you. Hello, thank you, Tess. Thank you for the warm introduction, and it's good to be back. Thank you for. It's good to be back again on the webinar stage. Good morning to everyone. Just to check if everyone's listening. Kindly, I have one request because we are gonna talk about um, in the past sessions, we've talked about the opportunities that AI, the benefits that AI can give us, the challenges, the different kinds of AI tools that you can use. Maybe in other webinars elsewhere, you've talked about it. May I just please ask you to maybe invite some friends, share this into your on your pages, on your profiles, to your groups, as we talk about a very important aspect of using AI. Some of you might be already asking me, will I give a biased talk about AI? Not necessarily. I don't want to give a biased talk on AI, but I would like to talk about AI in a general sense, especially when we talk about ethics. And that's one thing that we are looking or asking ourselves even in Gabay. We are actually very active in asking ourselves how ethical the discussions, how ethical we will be in our use of AI. All right. So I don't know why there's a number appearing on my slides right now, but good morning, everyone. Again, it's nice to be back. Let me just start. Um, Good ethical question to ask when using AI. It's really more of us knowing how we're using AI and how we are safeguarding ourselves and our students. Remember that when we use AI, it's especially in education, it's not just ourselves that we are our information that we're sharing. It could be the information of our students, indirectly or directly. It could be the information about the schools through the lessons that we or the questions that we asked. For example, ChatGPT, or maybe even in the future when you're using Gabay, tag process AI assistant. So let's look into those questions. Let's suspend our biases for now. I was given a heads up that there are also some audience here who are very skeptic of Gabay and other AI tools. That's okay. It's good to be skeptic because you're technically asking questions, and that's very good. That means that you're coming from a good place. You have good intentions when you ask questions about tools, and I would say do that. Come from a good intention, asking yourselves about AI and all those things. Okay, because it's not just in education that we're gonna use AI. AI is everywhere, in sector, in banking, in other areas of the society or sector of the society. Okay, so let me just start. Let's review what AI is. AI, okay, AI is or refers to artificial intelligence. It refers to the development of computer systems that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as learning, problem solving, decision making, and language understanding. When you look at AI, for example, AI tries to mimic. It tries to mimic human tasks and human abilities. For example, AI is very smart. We call AI artificial intelligence. Some of you might argue that's not intelligent at all because there's still a need for outside intervention, outside push, like the human being developing it. But when we look at AI, it's a set of systems that try to mimic human intelligence. What is that human intelligence for? It's also the same, that mimicking process. It's also similar to what we do. Where do we use our brain? We use our brain, we use our mind to learn, to solve problems, to make decisions. Decisions such as, saan ba ako kakain? Ano bang kulay ng damit ang i-order ko? Ano pa ba? Paano ba ako magse-send, magbabayad, GCash ba, credit card? Ano kayang picture ang ipopost ko? I-edit ba ng filter or whatever? A lot of those questions. Hindi pa ako gumagamit ng questions on education, but those simple questions in our daily lives, those could be already questions that can be answered by AI tools that are under the hood. We call it under the hood, nasa loob ng mga machines na ginagamit natin. Ano yung mga machines na ginagamit natin in our daily lives? laptop, computers, your smartphones, your tablets. Your Apple Watch, for example, those are smart devices. We call them smart devices. There's one form of AI that is operating, or maybe a combination of AI systems working together. Okay, so that's one of the things that we need to understand. Hey, also, there are different kinds of AI tools or AI systems. Okay, so for example, Gabay is simply one of the many tools. It's also what we call as a generative AI. Gabay generates answer based on input or prompt from the user, and then Gabay goes back under the hood or behind the scene, communicates with our large language model, and the one that we're using, for example, is ChatGPT, and then or the OpenAI large language model. Then it goes with it and then learns and then tries to call out all of those things, the information based on your prompt, and then it will give you an answer. Okay, that's just one kind of AI, generative AI. Machine learning is also an AI. It's an AI that teaches, an AI that tries to learn based on input or based on data. We call them data set. So even within AI, like for example, ChatGPT is actually being trained through machine learning. There's a lot of data coming from the internet, 2021 and below. All of those are information, and those are being learned through machine learning. So ang daming pwedeng gawin, ang daming pwedeng gawin ng AI, ang dami ding maaaring paggamitan sa AI. In the past webinar sessions, you've already heard of the different ways of how we use AI. Now, I want to interact with our audience right now. Can you give me an example where you have used or kinds of AI tools that you have been using in your daily life? Pwedeng hindi education, pwedeng sa bahay lang, sa personal life. Sige nga, tingnan na nga natin how much, how aware are we with the use of AI in our daily lives. Let me see. I'll try to wait. I'll wait and look at the chat box. Let's see. The prompt is, what kinds of AI or AI tools have you been using? Okay. Hillcrest, my friends at Hillcrest School, shout out. Doc Malu and the whole Hillcrest School community. Compose captions in our FB post. Okay, that's a secret that I want to share to everyone. Sometimes there are a lot of things that I want to share, but sometimes I don't know how to put them together in an interesting, captivating caption. I try to use ChatGPT to compose those ideas for me, right? Oh, Jeff, hello Jeff. I use ChatGPT to make a script for my hosting event. Okay. Roel says AI can be used as a substitute for Google search. It's an option as well for Google search. Actually, right now, ang sabi nga nila, parang natabunan si Google search, no? Because of the accessibility and the way AI communicates with us. Yan. There's one thing that I've been using. I think it's not a secret, no, that we have been developing for many months now. The Gabay, the teacher assistant tool, and I'm one of those who were designing it, and I interviewed a lot of teachers. I interviewed a lot of teachers on what tasks they would like AI to automate. Yung paulit-ulit na ginagawa natin, yun yung clue. Ang mga AI ngayon, tinitingnan nila kung ano yung mga paulit-ulit na ginagawa natin, for example, sa school, yun yung ino-automate. Automation means the use of AI, the use of codes, programming to make that clerical work faster. Okay? Now, Gabay AI is a generative AI that creates. Okay, I think you will see in the demo later that it is a generative AI that lets you create lesson plans. What else? Formative assessment. I think we've just released a new feature called Real World Assessment Planner, email generator, all those kinds of things, teacher tasks. Okay, so machine learning, different kinds of AI, different applications in AI, in healthcare. You see AI everywhere, in business, education, and all of those things. Okay, Now, what else do we want to look into? AI, why are we asking ourselves ethical questions about AI? Bakit nga ba AI lang yung pinagtatanungan natin ng ethical question? Noon, social media, did we ask ethical questions on social media? Parang wala naman eh. Parang we just dove into the depths of social media and then enjoyed posting pictures and everything hanggang sa may ma-scam sa atin, may mga spreading ng fake news, doon lang tayo nag-usap-usap about social media, no? But here's the thing. AI has been the new disruptor in our way. In education, AI has questioned a lot of things. If you are a teacher right now, you would know that AI can, like for example, generative AI, a kind of AI, can actually generate text or information, new knowledge, create music, create videos, create codes, and all of those things. Synthetic data, we call them synthetic data. They're not organic data in a sense that they're generated by AI from a source. Okay? Yan yung mga isang question natin. For example, tayo, can you please tell me if you've been using AI-generated images? Ang question dyan sa AI-generated images, kanino ba yung image na yon? Diba? Kanino ba? Sa atin ba yon? Or kahit alam natin na may basis yung ginamit nating generative AI? Kasi, for example, no, nag-create ka ng picture of Mayon volcano but in this format na maraming ulan or whatever na may airplane. Alam niyo si AI, hindi niya magagawa yon out of nothing. It needs information or data sets. So pag picture ang gusto mo, usually ang data sets din niya images na naaral na ng AI na ginagamit mo. So ang question, saan nanggaling yung mga original images? Kung sa atin nanggaling yon, tayo din ba ay nagmamay-ari sa picture na na-generate? That's the question. Those are the questions that we need to ask, especially with generative AI models. But the idea right now is naging madaling gumamit ng AI, generative AI, because of accessibility and simplicity. For example, ChatGPT. Adobe Firefly, di ba? Adobe Firefly, yung Canva, ang dami niyang text to image creation already, generative AI creators. So there, ang dami-dami. Sa TikTok, for example, si Ariana Grande, kumakanta ng K-pop song. Tuwang-tuwa tayo nun kasi AI-generated lahat ang mga yun. Okay? So there, accessibility. Now, we need to understand that the biggest impact of AI is actually on knowledge and content creation. So, tayong mga teachers, mapapatanong tayo, ano kayong impact nito? What is the impact of AI in teaching? Pag ang mga bata, for example, so dalawang perspective yan pag bata ang gumamit, pag teacher ang gumamit. Pag teacher ang gumamit sa AI, okay lang ba? For example, ako si teacher, gusto kong gumawa ng quiz. Okay? Nagipag-interact ako sa isang AI. Tinulungan niya akong gumawa. Okay lang ba yon? Right? Nawawalan ba ako ng skill? Nababawasan ba ako ng expertise sa pagiging teacher? Okay? Ang sagot natin, hindi naman kasi, ang sagot natin hindi naman siya kasi kailangan ko pa rin namang basahin kung tama yung mga questions and answers na nilagay niya or options. So in the end, pag ako yung teacher, hindi ko basta-bastang i-approve ko, kopyahin, ilalabas yung mga questions na generate ko sa AI. Kailangan kong basahin. Check ko kung align. Okay? Now, baliktarin natin, or hindi baliktarin, pumunta tayo sa kabilang banda. The other side of it is, paano pag mga bata or students ang gumamit ng AI? Pwede ba? Ano ang epekto nito sa pag-aaral nila, paggawa ng knowledge, paggawa ng content? I'll give you an example. I think we can compare AI with the introduction of graphing calculator. If you know the graphing calculator, it makes now creation of graphs, no? And then yung computations, algebra, thingy, all of those, mas madali. Pero before graphing calculator, alam nyo naging question noon, the invention of calculator. Ang mga graphing calculator ba and calculator, mawawalan na ng skills ang mga bata, magiging tamad na sila. Desmos, for example, hindi na sila magiging magaling sa pagko-compute, mawawalan na ba ng skill? Yun yung mga questions natin. Tapos, we later on found out na pag sa elementary, bawal mag-calculator. Bakit bawal mag-calculator? Kasi foundational skills ang tinuturo natin. Kailangan matuto yung mga bata sa skills ng addition, subtraction, basic operations. Kasi kung hindi, may hirapan sila sa buhay. Yung argument noon is, hindi mo kasi laging dala yung calculator mo. Pero ngayon, dala-dala natin yung mga cellphones natin. Ang daling mag-chat GPT, tanungin kung ano yung answer sa equation na ganito. So, hindi rin pwedeng rason yung hindi mo kasi dala yung calculator mo lagi para matuto ka ng foundational. No, not really. It's really the recognition that wherever we go, we need to understand that foundational knowledge builds our understanding. We cannot understand more complex ideas if we don't understand the foundational skills. Hindi dahil wala kang calculator every minute of your life. Hindi na pwedeng rason yun kasi nandyan na nga yung cellphone eh. 'Di ba? Minsan sasabihin nila sa history, araling panlipunan for example, kailangan yung aralin yung mga historical facts sa ulo or whatever. Kasi kailangan yan foundational knowledge. Wala naman kayong access sa information. Pag hindi nyo na-memorize yan, hindi kayo makapag-aral na maayos. Pero may Google na eh. Pwede kang mag-search. May AI na rin. So anong rason doon? I think the more important idea there is to make the students recognize na hindi maganda ang shortcut. Na pag nag-shortcut ka, hindi mo mahahasa yung utak mo. Na hindi content ang focus. Hindi yung content ng tinuturo natin. Kundi yung paghahasa ng utak. 'Di ba? Yun yung importante nating sabihin sa mga bata. Huwag lang bawal dito, bawal ganyan. Kailangan iparealize sa mga bata na ang shortcut, hindi matututo ang bata. Walang natututo sa shortcut. 'Di ba sa buhay, pag madali mong nakamit ang pangarap mo dahil shortcut mo, parang hindi ka masaya. Parang feeling mo parang walang authenticity. Do you agree with me? In life, for example, anything na shortcut, di ba? Anything na shortcut, parang walang impact sa atin. Minsan, pag shortcut, ang bilis ding mawala. It's the same thing with reviewing, di ba? Pag nag-review ka the day before, short-term memory, hindi mo nahasa sa utak mo. Wala sa long-term memory, hindi mo na-code sa utak mo. Makakalimutan mo din after. Right? So, ganun yung kailangan nating ituro sa mga bata. Let me see if you agree with me. Can you put in the chat box if you agree with that thought? Walang shortcut. Hindi, actually may shortcut. Pero ang shortcut hindi makakatulong sa'yo. Marirealize mo lang pagtanda mo, pagtungtong mo sa college na nag-shortcut ka, hindi ka natuto sa foundational skills. So yun yung main concern natin. Kaya minsan, bakit pwede sa matanda mag-generative AI, hindi pwede sa students? Kasi ang mga professionals like us, teachers na tayo eh, we are all teachers already. The assumption, we assume that we have passed LET, graduate tayo ng 4 years, or maybe parang ako, unit earner ako, nag-LET na tayo, pumasa na tayo, yung iba, nag-masteral, nag-PhD pa. So in short, alam na natin yung content, di ba? Natuto na tayo. Minsan, ang tingin ko kasi sa AI tool, nakakatulong siya sa atin na professional because whether we like it or not, ang daming trabaho. Mga teachers, tama ba? Do you agree with me? Ang dami nating trabaho, wala tayong oras. Ano dapat ang ginagawa natin ng mga teachers? Dapat nakakausap natin yung mga students natin. 'Di ba? Sabi nila, build relationship. Teachers, ano 'yan? Technology cannot replace the teacher. Yun yung sabi, di ba? Technology cannot replace the teacher because teachers build the relationship. What else? Teachers have emotion. We build our students to relating with them. Ang question nga natin, wala nga tayong oras para mag-build relationship. Ultimong pagbibigay ng feedback sa mga bata sa gawain nila, wala rin tayong oras. Tama ba? So when we look at the use of AI here, ethical question, is it really to replace us as our teachers, or is it a toolkit that will help us reclaim, para bawiin yung mga oras na nawala sa atin, para yung nabawi nating oras, i-google natin dito or gamitin natin ito para magampanan ang mga dapat na gawa ng teachers. Building relationship, knowing your students, giving good feedback. Kaya nga hindi tayo nakakapagbigay ng magandang feedback kasi wala tayong oras. Ang laki-laki pa ng class student teacher ratio natin, 'di ba? Or teacher student ratio. So, it's not just for adults, it's not just shortcut. It's us empowering ourselves so that we can reclaim more time. That's my argument, 'di ba? Iba 'yan sa mga bata. So, ano yung implication nito? Some of you might be asking, "Sir, paano yung mga policies namin?" Your policies then should be different. Your AI policy for teachers' use should be different with your AI policy for students' use. Hindi pwedeng blanket yan kasi magkaiba ang konteksto at intention sa paggamit ng AI ng mga student sa mga professional like teachers. A lot of the universities, colleges, and even K-12 schools that I've worked with, yung mga AI nila, it's really just for students. Or minsan, they have an AI policy framework, but it's a blanket policy framework. Sabi ko, no, you cannot do that. You cannot give a blanket policy that covers use of AI by the teacher and also by the students. Magkaiba yan innately magkaiba. Diba? So, tingnan natin, baka yun yung magandang question din natin sa sarili natin. Ethical question. What is the goal of using AI for the students? What's the goal of using AI for the professional students, professional like teachers, school leaders, and admin? Now, I also want to talk about implications of AI. In education, and you already know sa the past webinars over at TagPros, you've already talked about the benefits, the different AI tools. I've heard from the feedback, tuwang-tuwa tayo kasi ang dami nating nakitang tools that we can use. But what are those implications that we see on education? The biggest implication really is on this assessment. It's really on assessment. Back in early 2022 ba, when AI started to come out, 2022, mga December to, lumabas yung essay when ChatGPT came out. Sabi ng The Atlantic, the college essay is dead. Student works, essay, research papers, ang language-based test on homework or homework or take-home requirements, patay na. Anong ibig sabihin ng patay na? It's dead. Wala na. Ang mga bata magsasubmit ng mga work na gawang AI. Kasi, ang hilig-hilig natin magpa-essay ng pag-homework, magpa-research, ginagawa saan? Sa bahay. Diba, ang usapan nga is all summative assessment should be done in school para makita mo yung mastery application na ginagawa ng mga bata. What else? Ang hilig din kasi natin magbigay ng mga test na noon ang question is, nag-google ba yan? Ngayon ang question is, nasasagot ba yan ng AI? Nasasagot ba yan ng AI? Kasi pag nasasagot yan ng AI, ibig sabihin, madadaya ka ng mga bata. Not because mandaraya ang mga students. Hindi po yun ang gusto nating sabihin. Kasi, minsan tayo mga teachers, hindi natin minsan nabibigyan ng pansin yung konteksto ng mga kabataan. Hindi rin sa binibigyan ko ng dahilan ang mga bata. Lahat naman tayo nagdaan sa kabataan, Minsan, nandyan yung temptation to cheat. May AI man, may Google man, o wala. Nandun yan yung temptation to cheat. Pero tayo mga teachers, tayo yung aral, tayo yung professional, dapat inaayos natin kung paano magbigay ng assessment para hindi sila mag-cheat. Right? What else were the other implications? Ito rin. Hindi lang online learning ang nag-trigger ng discussion on academic integrity, even ChatGPT. Lalo na sa college. Sa college kasi sandamakmak ang essay, sandamakmak ang research paper, essay dito, essay doon. Hindi naman nababalik agad ng mga professors, ng mga teachers. Wala pang feedback. Makukuha mo yung essay mo before your final test. Di ba ganun minsan? Hindi nasasabuhay yung sinasabing feedback is timely or whatever. Minsan walang ganyan sa college. So anong ginagawa ng mga kabataan sa college? Ganyan pala ha, hindi kami sure kung tama yung inaral namin. Late pa kayong magbigay ng feedback sa amin. Mag-chat GPT kami. Diba? Pwedeng ganun eh. Ganun yung mindset. I interviewed a student, no, I have a podcast, it's called Empower Ed Podcast, no. I asked a student why they use ChatGPT. Yung a former student of mine is now studying in the United States, no. Alam mo yung sabi niya, sure, why we use ChatGPT? We don't necessarily copy, we brainstorm. Kasi minsan yung mga professors, kulang sa time sa amin eh. Kulang sa time sa amin, pasok sila sa classroom, labas sa classroom, hindi nga nila kami kilala eh. Nandun pa rin sila sa idea na sink or swim sa college, pati ba yan? Walang personal connection. Tapos sasabihin natin na, technology cannot replace the teacher because we have connection. May mga teachers nga, basic ed and college, hindi kilala yung mga students. So ano pa yung ano? Anong pang pinaglalaban natin? Diba? Kaya minsan may mga students na hindi naman ako kilala eh. Yung cheating naman, cheating for them, academic dishonesty, it's a harmless crime. What do you mean by harmless crime? Walang nasasaktan na iba. For them, medyo madali mag-cheat, hindi ka makukonsensya dahil it's a harmless crime. Walang ibang nasasaktan. Ikaw lang. Kung na-realize mo na yung pag-cheat mo sa test or paper or essay, hindi ka matututo. Pero minsan, may mga kabataan, hindi ganyan yung pag-iisip. Okay? It's a harmless crime, so they would do that. At because some of teachers and professors, according to them, they don't care. Diba? Umaasa lang sila sa Turnitin or other AI detectors. Hindi ka nga nila kilala. So paano nila masasabi na ikaw yung nagsulat? I'm not saying, although I'm also reminding everyone, plagiarism detectors for ChatGPT and other ARs are not reliable. Even Turnitin is not 100% sure. Bibigyan ka ng percentage. However, that percentage is not even reliable because my disclaimer lagi si Turnitin. You know, when ChatGPT came out, Turnitin was not able to detect AI-generated tools. And Turnitin is also using AI to spot AI. So kung ilang percentage ang sureness ni Turnitin, kung hindi 100%, mahirap ipaglaban yan na ikaw ay nag-cheat. You know why? I already had that experience. I wrote a research, no? And then I submitted it. And then someone from the team came back to me and said, "Sir, parang mataas po yung copied or AI-generated ideas." Sabi ko, I'm insulted because I did not use AI for that. Those are my idea. So, anong gusto mo? Baguhin ko para lang masatisfy yung numbers ni Turnitin? Or tanungin mo ako yung may-ari eh. Sinabi ko na nga hindi ako nagnakaw sa AI, hindi ko ginamit yung AI at insulto yun sa akin. So, minsan ang sagot nila, sir, kailangan may requirement kasi dapat mababa. So, minsan nagiging decider na ang tools like Turnitin. Tama bang maging decider ang tools that Turnitin? Minsan nagiging decider, taga-decide kung nag-AI yung bata or not. Alam niyo kung bakit? Dahil may mga teachers, professors, hindi talaga kilala yung ability ng mga bata. Kung hindi mo kilala yung bata, yung ability ng kabataan, magde-depend ka sa mga detectors. Pero tingnan nyo yung mga detectors, ang dami nang nagsasabi na hindi sila reliable. Masama bang gumamit ng detectors or tools like Turnitin? No, it's not bad. I'm not saying that these are not bad. They are just data providers. As data providers, you don't base your decision on them. Kailangan mag-research ka rin. Ikaw yung nag-a-accuse eh. Ikaw yung teacher o professor nag-a-accuse sa bata ng academic dishonesty. Sa korte, pwede ko kayong pumunta sa korte at sabihin, yung detector mo hindi reliable. So how sure are you? Dapat 100% ka pag nagsasabi ka nag-cheat ang bata, 'di ba? Gumamit ng AI. Eh yung detector mo hindi nga reliable, talo ka as a teacher. So minsan, mas importante kaysa sa mga detectors na kayang nakilala ng teacher o professor yung bata. Okay? Ano ang implication niya on us teachers? I'm a supervisor. When I say supervisor, I have an administrative position in my school. When I do lesson planning with my teachers, I know when they use AI or not. Okay lang sa akin yun kasi in the end, what they submit to me, ano lang yun, plan lang yun eh. Lesson plan lang yun eh. Ano ang marka? Ano ang marka ng isang magaling na guro? Yung lesson plan na pinasa na pwedeng na-generate ng AI? No. I will look and go back and go inside your classroom and see if you can implement that very beautiful plan. Tayo kasi ang hilig-hilig natin sa Pilipinas ng papel, papel, papel. Paper, paper, paper. Document, document, document. Ang ganda-ganda-ganda. Kinakarir nyo pa ang paggawa ng cover. Diba? Para kayong mga model sa cover, pagpasa ng kung ano-anong document. Pero in real life ba, nai-implement nyo ba? Diba? I will relate that with students. Ang mga students, they can fake the content of papers. Kaya nga ang sabi nila, at this time and area right now, it's not what students can write alone or what they know. It's also how they can apply in real life. Dito papasok ang authentic assessment. 'Di ba? Ang mga teachers pag nag-a-apply, ano ang pinaka-importanteng tingnan? Yung demo. Kung teacher ka na, ano yung ino-observe sa'yo ng teacher? Yung class ay ng boss mo, yung classroom observation. So hindi ba dapat ang mga students natin ngayon, dapat authentic assessments na rin yung tinitingnan natin? Hindi na lang yung kaya nilang isulat. Kasi yung kaya na yung isulat, pwedeng hindi naman ganon katotoo. Right? So, we need to look into the ethical consideration of that plagiarism detectors as well. Okay? So, I'll pause for a while right now kasi medyo information overload. I will try to pause right now and mute myself. May I check if you are still with me? So, if you have a question right now or insight, I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll give you 2 minutes to put them in the comment section. So, I'll mute myself right now and then 2 minutes. 2 minutes for you to write your insight or your thoughts in the comment section before I go to the next part. Ayan, I can see Teacher Jill. So can we show Teacher Jill's reflection? During interaction, we can measure students' capabilities, how they talk, and how they construct ideas. Very good. During interaction, which means in real life, in action. So ano yan? Hindi siya pagsusulat lang, even sa application nila in their daily interactions. So very good insight, Teacher Jill. Teacher Maria says, I agree with you, sir. Assessment for students should not focus on giving exams only, written exam, pero authentic task. Okay? Okay? Teacher L.A. Abe Ari says, it's always worthy to know our students, their strengths and weaknesses. Thank you for bringing this up. You know why? Kasama yan sa social emotional learning. We need to teach our students know their strengths and weaknesses. If our students know their strengths and weaknesses, as teachers must know paano tayo magdi-differentiated learning, magpa-personalized learning kung hindi natin alam yung strengths and weaknesses nila. Wala yun. So tied up together, these are basic student data that we need to understand and we need to know. Okay? Teacher Ferlin says, I think it is a must for us to conduct pre-assessment to know our students' capabilities. Yes, strengths and weaknesses. Okay? Teacher Eva says, yes, sir, there are learners who are very good in written output but poor in performance in the classroom. And we know that in our true lives, it's not just the written output, but a lot of us would look, halimbawa ako, pag nag-hire ako as a teacher, it's not just the lesson plan that I look at their capability on implementing. So performance inside the classroom. Okay? Thank you. I think you recognize the importance now of authentic assessment in action. I saw a question a while ago. Can we show that question? I think by Teacher Peach. It says, how can we properly implement and regulate AI in terms of students' use? Okay, there's no solid answer to that. There's no there are concrete answers. There's no blanket answer to that. Instead, what I'm going to do right now is to give you some guidelines. What are some thinking points? What are some reflection points? What are good questions? What good questions can we ask? Can we ask ourselves as we use AI? I'm not gonna push a framework or sets of guidelines because like what I've said, kanya-kanya yan. Kanya-kanyang guidelines for students, may guidelines for teachers, depende rin sa konteksto nyo po. Ang mga students nyo pa ay nasa elementary, nasa college, nasa high school, or even grad students. So, contextualize your policies. However, what I can share to you are some thoughts, some questions that you can reflect on, and maybe those will help you in constructing those policies. Okay, let me start. Responsible use of AI primarily is anchored on prioritizing human well-being, fairness, and societal impact. So responsible use of AI is always asking ourselves, when I use an AI tool, is it for the good of the human person? Is it fair? Does it benefit the whole society? Yun yung unang question natin. Pag gumamit ba ako ng AI, nabe-benefit ba, na-prioritize ba ang human being, ang well-being, ang pagkatao, ang buhay ng taong ito, at hindi lang ng isang tao, kundi ang buong community or society. That's the first responsible question to ask. Okay? How does it support, make better, help the life of a human being and everyone with it? Kasi hindi pwedeng isa lang ang nagbe-benefit, lahat magbe-benefit dapat. There are also certain areas that we need to look into. Equity and accessibility, comprehensive training and professional development or training for everyone. Kasi hindi lahat agad-agad matututong mag-AI, naaral din yan. Okay? User privacy, and then even ongoing evaluation and monitoring. Kailangan nating pinag-iisipan, tama ba yung paggamit natin? Nag-i-improve pa tayo? Okay? Now, let's go through them one by one. Okay, when we ask ourselves, the first idea, the core idea about prioritizing the human individual, no? It's really a more human-centered approach. It ensures that when we use AI like Gen AIs, it's aligned with the values and goals of the educational institution. So this in education, hindi pwedeng ang paggamit ng AI or AI tools hindi align sa values and goals of educational institutions. Dapat align yan. Hindi pwedeng, gusto kong gumamit ng AI, ang school namin gumagamit ng AI, pero hindi naman siya align sa kagustuhan ng school, yung mga values ninyo, yung mga goals ninyo. Kung ang goal ninyo ay matuto ng mga bata ng foundational skills on their own, na walang any tool, then bawal kayong magbigay ng AI sa mga elementary students. Nandun yung foundational diba? So things like that, you can ask those questions already. Next, equity and accessibility. If you want to use AI in your school, kailangan hindi lang ilang bata o ilang teacher ang may gamit ng AI. Lahat dapat para equal, equity and accessibility, lahat may access. I just want to tell you a story, very candid. I was giving a workshop in one division of DepEd. Nakakatuwa kasi yung ilang mga teachers doon, alam na pala ang AI, such as ChatGPT. Hindi nila sinishare sa mga co-teachers nila. Alam niyo kung bakit? Para makalamang sila. Mas madali silang makapag-submit ng mga documents or kung ano-ano pang mga isa-submit. At hindi nila shinare sa mga co-teachers nila. Ang pangit pakinggan. Ang pangit ka pakinggan. Walang sharing of best practices. Walang sharing of tools. Toxic Filipino trait in the professional environment. Lamangan. Lamangan. Tapos natatawa ako kasi nung nakita ko yun, I form an idea, no? Hinanap ko lahat ng mga task na nahihirapan yung mga teachers. Paggawa ng research, paggawa ng action research, paggawa ng report. Tinuruan ko silang lahat gumawa ng ganun. Yung mga teachers na may alam sa ChatGPT at lahat-lahat na yon, nakasimangot sila. Alam nyo kung bakit? Kasi alam na ng lahat. Kasi pwedeng makalamang ka eh. Yun nga yung nakakatakot dito, nakaka-stress. Kasi gusto natin mag-advance lahat. Pero hindi mag-a-advance lahat kung yung ibang mga teachers, sila lang yung may access at nakakaalam. Dapat fair, di ba? Dapat nabibigyan. Ng opportunity. Which leads me to the point, kailangan matrain yung mga teachers. Lahat ng mga teachers ninyo para pantay-pantay kayo. Even students, kailangan matuto sila. Responsible, ethical use of AI if you allow them. Hindi pwedeng lamangan. Diba? Do you agree with me? Toxic Filipino environment, professional environment trait. Hardcore na hardcore tayo sa lamangan, kaya nawawala ang sharing of best practices, nawawala ang sharing of tools. That's one thing that I don't like in the professional environment. Okay? Next, user privacy, very important. You should be able to ask AI providers or AI tools, do you protect our data? What do you do with our data? How do you collect them? Where do you store them? How are you using them? Especially because in schools, you are guarding data of young people, diba? So you need to be careful with that user privacy area. So ask yourselves, ask the AI tools that you're working with, nasaan ang data privacy policy ninyo or framework, because that is actually being asked by the law. Okay? Now, we don't just settle, no? Responsible use of AI would push us as well in the schools, no? Kailangan minomonitor natin, ina-evaluate natin yung implementation ng AI. Maayos ba? Nasaan tayo nagkukulang? Ano yung mga tools na wala na gusto natin? Baka naman kaya natin kausapin yung mga developer, pwede nilang ibigay. Uy, may pumalyang data privacy, may nag-leakage ng data, things like that. You have to monitor and evaluate the use of AI. Okay. There are other areas that you need to look into when you want to ask questions about risk and ethical concerns of using AI. I have 8 questions here that you may want to ask yourselves. Number 1, okay, how might over-reliance on generative AIs for information retrieval and decision-making impact individuals' information processing and critical thinking skills? Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Yung over-reliance and over-dependence, you need to ask yourself, is this good for our students? Hanggang kailan sila pwedeng magtanong? Anong grade level ang pwedeng gumamit ng Gen AI? Things like that. Okay? Next area. Yan, cognitive overload. Ang dami-daming information. So, pwedeng nating tanungin ang sarili natin, what challenges might arise from the increase in knowledge availability facilitated by Gen AIs. Ang dami-daming information. Paano natin matuturuan yung mga kabataan natin or even ourselves to go through this information and simply just choose the information that are true, that will help us as well in our task and goal. Okay? Next. What ethical concerns are associated? Ayan na. Bias and fairness. We need to look at the information being pointed out. Ano yung mga biases? Are the information fair? Remember kasi all the information that we're putting in, they're good and bad biases. May influence yan ng taong nagsusulat. Dito nanggagaling yung yung saying na history is written by the winners, not by the losers. That idea itself give us already a sense of bias na ang kasaysayan ay sinusulat ng mga taong nanalo na sa perspektibo nila. So that is an example of bias and fairness that question as well. Ayan, nasabi ko na kanina, privacy and data security. You need to ask what's the implication. And then if you partner with a provider, you ask them, how do you protect our data? How do you protect our security? How do you protect our data privacy as well? Next question, transparency and accountability. Kung merong risk ang generative AI or tools, what's your accountability? Diba? As a provider as well. Ano yung transparency in terms of decision-making processes? What are those challenges? Diba? All of those things. Okay, I think this is a question. I'm pretty sure this will come out also later on. Ownership and authenticity of AI-generated content. Isang malaking concern. Sino ang nagmamay-ari ng mga AI-generated content? Right now, there's no clear-cut way of saying who owns this or that. Pinagdedebatehan pa ngayon. My personal thought is you need to declare. You need to declare if you use an AI when you created this, for example, essay. You declare, I use ChatGPT, I use Gabay to brainstorm. If you are putting up a picture, you have to declare, I use an AI to create this picture. Okay, it's easier for us to look into which AI has been generated or not, and then you leave to us whether we will say we like it or not. Okay, if you, for example, use data from other people, you have to attribute. You need to tell them, I used the data by Jim Toscano in his book, and then I made this. Okay, and simply always ask permission. Always ask permission if you're using work of other people. Okay, manipulation and misuse. We need to guard ourselves. How are we using generative AI? Is it through misusing? Are we manipulating the needs and interests of other people? Remember, dapat lahat nakikinabang, hindi lang isa, lahat dapat nakikinabang. Okay? And last question, we need to ask ourselves, what's the impact of generative AI for us in our school, in our community, and everywhere? Does it pose threat to integrity? Okay? For example, pag gumamit ng mga bata ng Gen AI in the classroom, anong threat ang binibigay niya sa academic integrity? Pag nag-submit si teacher ng AI-generated image, tapos claim niya sa kanya kahit obvious naman na generated by AI, how will it challenge integrity in terms of authenticity and ownership? These are guide questions. These are guide questions, and hopefully, depending on your values and goals as an institution, your spirituality, and all of those things, doon kayo magbabase kung anong specific guidelines that you have. I want to end this with a short promotion, no? I have a book that will be officially launched next week. It's called Empowered to Thrive, Igniting the Blended Learning Journey for the School. Now, can I just clarify, when I say blended, it's not DepEd's blended learning delivery. This is the original meaning of blended. The original meaning of blended is using technology wherever you are. Using technology. Blended instructional approach means using technology in face-to-face, online, hybrid, everywhere. It's not the same with DepEd's blended na mixed modal or whatever. I'm reclaiming the meaning of blended learning here. And I just want to share that that this book also has a partner AI toolkit. So I will launch this book over at Rex. Okay. It will be available for purchase. I just want to say that if you want to dig more about AI, there is a companion toolkit, AI toolkit, that will still continue to help you ask ethical questions. And of course, we at Tag Pros also want to share that we have Gabay or Gab AI. It's a generative AI that we are developing and launching as well in the coming weeks, in 2 weeks, in a local conference where we want to help teachers reclaim their time so that all teachers like me can focus on what we do better. So there, So I end this. Thank you so much for being with us. Um, Please let me know if you have questions as we proceed to the next part of the session. Thank you, everyone, and let's wait for the open forum.
Okay, there you go. Thank you so much, Sir Jim. Okay, may I request our participants, let's give our heart react or applause for Sir Jim. Baka nagkaroon po kayo ng content overload or info overload. Pero napakaganda, no? Ang dami nating natutunan ngayong umagang ito. Okay? So, thank you for sharing your knowledge, okay, with us for today, Sir Jim. And I know you have many questions coming in. Kindly type, okay, kindly type them in the chat box. I mean in the comment box so that we can get to. Oh, ang daming reaction, Sir Jim. Thank you so much po. At meron kanina, no, si Sir Jeff yata, Sir Jim, sabi niya, timely because he is actually writing his thesis right now. And this will be helpful for him. Thank you so much. Again, before we go to the Q&A, the question and answer, because we are gathering your questions here, and Mr. Toscano, Sir Jim will be with us, okay, in answering those questions. Okay, we will have a short demo on using Gabay, the teacher sidekick. This will be done by our tech team. Okay, let's watch this.
Welcome. I'm James Patrick Fernandez, your guide for today, and we will be talking about and guiding you on how to use Gabay, a gabay ng gurong Pinoy. If you don't have any account here, you can sign up here, or you can just log in if you already have an account. So let's say I will log in. And as you can see here, we do have our dashboard. It consists of different cards with different purpose. And let's talk about the first one, which is the lesson plan designer. As you can see here, we do have more options and the requirements to create a lesson plan. Firstly is grade level. You can choose from grades 1 to 10, say grade 2, and English, first quarter, content, phonological, vocabulary, and etc. Let's say vocabulary and word knowledge, learning activity, um, lecture and direct instruction, learning competencies, use content, lesson format for A's, number of session. In this text area, it is optional for you to add your personal prompt or specific prompt and enter your custom prompt here. So we will not just add it there, but you can try it yourself. So let's click to generate. So here's our generated lesson plan, grade level, subject, and learning competencies, and we do have a 2 session as selected a while ago. We do have session 1 and session 2. You can either reload the page and create a new one or download PDF. We can just download it. So here's the generated lesson plan in a PDF form. It is available to download. Next one is the formative assessment creator. Similar to lesson plan, but instead we will create a formative assessment from grades 1 to 6. Let's say grade 1, subject math, quarter period, second quarter, number and algebra, learning objectives, counts by twos, fives, tens, up to 100. Let's say true or false. Provide answer key yes, level of difficulty moderate, number of items, let's say 10. Generate. So instruction for each question determine if the statement is true or false. So question number 1 up to question number 10, you can either download or generate again. Let's do generate again. Let's say you don't want this kind of assessment, you can generate again. So let's say you want this one and download it. So here's our generated formative assessment. Next one is the email manager. So you can either generate an email or respond to an email. So basically, generate an email is you can create or type in, let's say, a custom email generator, or create me a an email for teacher party. So the email generator will generate based on your prompt, which I include an email for a teacher party. So subject, invitation to teacher party. So dear teachers, etc., etc., etc. After the generator finish the email, you can either copy it or just leave it there. So I think it is best to copy it and either use it in your own words, or we can proceed to the next generator, which is the email responder. So a while ago we generated an email, so now we will generate an email to respond to an email as well. So basically, respond to an email that talks about party. So subject, party, and hi, state your name, and etc., etc. So here you can either as well leave it there and use it on your own words, or modify it, or you can just copy it onto the next one, which is the real world assessment planner. Grade level, same thing, same requirements as well. Mathematics, first quarter, topic, measurement, and geometry. So it is automatically placed here the performance standard that is required for the topic. So let's say uh, number of customers wanting to buy a roll of students, say baker. Collaborative is either you can choose from pair, triad, group, or individual. I will do pair. Output type, essay, assessment creator, critical thinking. It will generate our real world assessment. So as you can see here, it is generated our real world assessment is generated now. Same thing as before, you can either reload the planner or download it. Next one is the learning gamifier. Grade 1, subject math, quarter period second. Let's do again the counts by 2s and 5s. Gamified quiz by points, challenges, individual, include. You can see here, you can add your custom prompt here. So if you want to try it. I will not include it any custom prompt here. So let's. It is important to add your custom prompt here. So here now you can see the introduction to the learning gamifier. So we have the preparation, the counting challenge, pointing system, points. We selected the points are awarded. Either reload it or download it. And lastly is the rubric designer. So grade 1, math, first quarter, number algebra. It is as well automatically inputs it. Describe assessment type. Let's say summative assessment. Level of achievement, advanced, format table. 5 is the highest and 1 is the lowest. So we do have now the generated rubrics with the requirements here. So problem solving below expectation. And again, you can either reload it or download it. So that's all for the cards, for the updated cards. We do have the AI and information disclaimer. You can just go to the website of gabay.tagpros.us to read all the Gabay AI information and content disclaimer. We do have for the featured upgrade, we have free inclusion, free plan with a prompt and a limit of 1 per day, basic plan, and a pro plan for those school who wanted to avail Gabay. And we're going to the dashboard, and if you're done using the Gabay, you can just log out. Confirm. There we go. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Thank you so much to our tech team for guiding us in using Gabay, the teacher sidekick. Okay, you see, it is actually meron po itong kasamang ano no yung matatag curriculum. And I'm sure some of you have questions for our speaker today. I saw some questions already. Sir Jim is with us today and who would gladly answer all your questions. Okay, let me start, Sir Jim. Ashley Acuña, it is from Ashley Acuña. She asked, how can we ensure that the data set we use to train AI models is representative and doesn't include harmful biases?
This is a very difficult question to answer. Actually, it's easy to answer for me, but since I'm not a practitioner, I'm not a coder or someone who's doing the AI thing, the difficulty is with them. But theoretically, I would say number one, you have to make sure that you go through all your data set, all your information. Look through, sift through, read them, spot ideas, spot text that will give biases, for example, against a race. 'Di ba? May bias doon na, for example lang ha, example, na tayong mga Filipino ay hindi magaling na OFW tayo. Di ba the usual bias against Filipino na maid tayo, na OFW, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. Kailangan tingnan nyo ha. So, ganun ang nangyayari. However, medyo mahirap kasi, for example, ako, I'm a user. My responsibility is to ask the developer if they have checked, right? Or what are the limitations? Kasi 100% sure, no? Hindi tayo 100% sure na kayang gawin yan. Dahil nga may mga tools. Kahit nga Facebook, di ba? Ang Facebook, may mechanism sila, social media, pero hello, tingnan mo, for example, sa Twitter. Ang daming pornographic material sa Twitter. Di ba? Sa Facebook, ang daming harmful fake news. So, ang pwedeng gumawa ng ano. So, even with that, I think the responsibility is on us. That's why we will try to make the developers accountable by asking them about the data sets that they're using. But even on us as users and receivers, we need to guard ourselves. That's why it's important that we teach our students and even ourselves critical thinking. We need to know more about the content and all of those things. Okay? So, critical thinking, we evaluate on our side. Dapat marunong din tayo mag-spot ng harmful biases. And then, sabi ko nga, be proactive. When you spot a harmful bias, don't be afraid to report. All AI developers or tech tools, meron silang way of giving feedback, di ba? Or evaluation. Send it. Kasi minsan, most of the time, that's the proactive stance. Okay? We need to cooperate with them. Okay? So I hope medyo madali sagutin theoretically, but it's very difficult on the under the hood. Sabi nga na under the hood work.
Yan, thank you Sir Jim. Maganda yung sinabi na dapat tayo proactive tayo when we spotted something that is biased. Huwag tayong matakot na i-report ka agad, lalong-lalo na dun sa gumagawa, no? Para maging alert din sila. Thank you, Sir Jim, for that. And we have another question here from Sir Roel Persia. What are the limitations po in using Gabay? Can we access all of its functions or do we need to upgrade?
Okay, we are still on beta version. Sabi nga nila, we're still on a beta version. Nasa beta version pa kami, but we are launching the official version on the Frontiers and Innovation in Teaching Conference, FitCon 2024, on May 24 at Xavier School. Right now, you can still access. Tama ba? Parang ako, I'm accessing it for free, no? You can explore the functions right now. But once we have already officially launched it, you will see some pricing information. There's a pricing information on individual use. If you belong to a school, you can also send us a message and then we will help you. We will help you and try to provide you as well with an affordable rate for all teacher use in your school. So yeah, right now you can already log in, sign up, explore everything, and then we'll send you information about the upgrading part. Now, limitations or functions. It's not a limitation in itself. Number one, right now we have launched 8 features. The 8 features we actually surveyed teachers about the most important tasks that they do inside the classroom or as a teacher. And then what we did was to find a way to automate them. For example, they are having a challenge on working on the new DepEd Matatag curriculum because there are no resources yet. So we try to integrate the DepEd Matatag. The DepEd Matatag is a public document, by the way, so it's out there. So what we did was to look at this DepEd Matatag and try to see if we can help our teachers align some activities on DepEd Matatag. Okay, there is an AI disclaimer there. I think this might be the limitation, not a negative limitation, but for example, in research, you put limitations to give the readers awareness of your parameters. So when you click, for example, on our parameters, there is a reminder to always check the information. Some information might not be truthful, might not be factual at some point because facts change. There are some moments when some information might not align to what you wanted. So we still encourage everyone to have a critical mindset. The goal of Gabay AI is a teacher tool assistant. Wala tayong budget para lahat tayo mabigyan ng assistant, di ba? So what we're doing there is to automate some teacher tasks, pag-reply sa email, paggawa ng email, pag-gamify, even the lesson planning, pag-differentiate ng mga articles. Those are the things that we want to do. There are limitations because we are also using data sets, no, by OpenAI, and yeah, we're very much aware of that. And we are very open to receiving feedback from everyone. We want a proactive stance on the use of AI because we don't want to deny AI. Instead, we want to make use of AI so that we can have more time to become better teachers. Yun.
Okay, thank you Sir Jim. Ang galing ano. Isingit ko lang po Sir Jim, 'di ba po pag pumunta sila doon sa ating gabay, pag yung free access po nila, there's something there that says you can give us your comment and feedback on how you are using the Gabay for free. Para po, kasi like what Sir Jim said, we are still in the beta testing and we want to really accept all your suggestions, the needs of our teachers. Kasi ito talaga yung kailangan ng mga teacher para mapadali ang ating gawain. Hindi yung buhay natin kundi yung ating gawain.
Yeah.
Sir, eto po, may
Tess,
isa pa po.
Sorry, let me clarify. I want to, maganda yung emphasis ni Tess. Kasi baka isipin natin, nagiging tamad ang mga teachers. Wow. Hindi namin ginagawang tamad ang mga teachers. Remember what I said a while ago? Ang daming ginagawa ng mga teachers. Minsan, and I wanna do a real talk with everyone. I have experiences working with teachers abroad. Yung sweldo natin as teachers, sobrang malayo sa sweldo ng mga teachers sa ibang bansa at mas okay pa yung teaching load nila and teaching tasks. Right now, wala tayong magagawa doon because it's a system. Kahit mga private schools, public school, every one of us, we need to follow certain regulations and all of this. I'm not even complaining. Siguro I'm wishing that we can improve on that. So what we're doing with Gabay is actually to provide a teacher assistant tool para hindi para gawing tamad si teacher, pero para mabawi yung time. Importante kasi yung time element sa mga teachers. 'Di ba may mga teachers hindi natatapos ang pagiging teacher kasi umuuwi sa bahay, nagche-check. Ang magulang ko po teacher, ang nanay ko, ang mga kapatid ko teacher, ang mga tita ko po teacher. Nakita ko po na minsan yung work, hindi minsan, most of the time, the work is actually being brought at home. Naging teacher po ako, ganun yung ginawa ko. Diba? Minsan nakakaligtaan kong gawin yung dapat ginagawa ko para maging maganda yung relationship ko with my students. Diba? Mag-guide sila. That is the goal of Gabay, no? It's to reclaim time for the teacher. Hindi para mabawasan o mawalan ng work si teacher. Sabi nga ni Ms. Tess, never naging madali ang buhay ng teacher. Mabigat, challenging, pero para we can focus on the more important teacher tasks. Yun yung goal natin. Okay? We need, sabi nga, our friends from Hillcrest, no? They're very good with technology and I've been communicating and working with them in a few things, no? It's working smart. Teachers have to work smart, okay? So that we can do more jobs that are focused on our students. Ayun, clarification lang ha, baka may mag-comment na ginagawa nating tamad ang mga teachers. Hindi po. We want to help our teachers reclaim more time.
Yes. And speaking of Hillcrest, shout out. Kapitbahay ko lang yan, Sir Jim. Ang Hillcrest, dito po sa Kogyo. Okay, Sir Jim, meron dito isang tanong. Ang sabi niya ni Miss Fe, is Gabay upgradable in order to suit needs of our school?
Yes.
Or different schools?
Yes. Okay. What we did with Gabay, the basic the core of Gabay is aligned, or we integrate elements of DepEd Matatag, no? But there is a version of Gabay, and we're opening it to all of our schools. So we can actually customize the whole of Gabay so that it becomes a teacher assistant for your school with your logo, with your trademark. And take note, if you have other curriculum added to DepEd Matatag, we can actually include those so that when your teachers create lesson plans, they're aligned. For example, I know that some schools build on DepEd Matatag's curriculum, but they follow elements of Singaporean curriculum. As long as you have those curriculum, the competencies and standards with you, we can actually upload them in Gabay. That's the other part of Gabay. If you are very interested, send us a message, just a DM on Facebook. We can explain that further. Another feature is when you download, for example, the documents, we can actually customize the documents with your school logo. Ayan. So for example, since kaibigan ko naman ang Hillcrest, no? Ang Hillcrest, for example, gusto nila ng Hillcrest Gabay assistant. We can actually customize the whole thing. Whitelist, give you your trademark and everything, put them there so that Hillcrest will have their own AI assistant as well. So even the documents will have logos. Of course, that's a very different pricing as well, upgradable, because it will require customization. But we're very proud of that because we also recognize the context of different schools in the Philippines. No, we build on what we have. Our foundation is on DepEd Matatag, the curriculum, the national curriculum. But we also recognize that different schools. Okay, I believe that our development team are also working on the alternative learning systems as well. So we're gunning for that. There is a question, no? There is a question whether this is aligned with senior high school and college. You can actually make use of them, especially the other features, no? However, please note that we are still working, and soon will release as well alignment to senior high school curriculum in the Philippines. For college level, because we recognize the differences among colleges, no? But there are standards naman in terms of different courses, no, offerings. That is the next step that we're looking into. But if we want to customize it, if you're a private school, private university, or college, that is one thing that we at TagPros can do via Gabay, di ba? So lahat tayo, ang dream nga ng TagPros is lahat tayo may assistant. Kasi whether we like it or not, walang budget ang school natin para magbayad ng mga assistant, no? Kasi may SSS pa sila, meron pa silang mga benefits. At least sa Gabay, wala kayong benefits na babayaran. Only that subscription. So there.
Yon, Sir Jim, salamat. Maganda yung meron kang sariling logo. So, magiging customized kapag, yes, we'll get back to you, sir. Meron po kasi, Sir Jim, meron mga paano daw tayo makokontak. We will get back to you, Sir Fernando. And this question, I think you need to answer, Sir Jim. Okay, is this system a requirement for accreditations like PAASCO, PCAB, or others?
Oh no, it's not a requirement for PAASCO or any accreditation. So just to however, if you are gunning for PAASCO accreditation or any accreditation, ang gandang pakinggan, hindi lang pakinggan, no, ang gandang i-showcase na ang school ninyo ay may technology integration. At hindi lang technology integration, it's AI integration to help teachers work, to elevate teachers' work, to give them time to be more productive and more efficient. However, caution, kahit po kami ang developer ng Gabay, ako po ay teacher, ako po ay administrator, ako ay tech advocate, sasabihin ko po sa inyo, huwag kayong bumili ng Gabay or technology or other tools just for the sake of technology. Hindi po. At Gabay, at TagPros, we can help you create your technology plan so that sustainable ang paggamit yun ng technology tools, whether Gabay or different. Our loyalty is actually on our students. Hindi pwedeng dahil uso ang Gabay ngayon, maggagabay din tayo. Matutuwa kami as developers, appreciation yun eh. Pero gusto namin maging sustainable ang paggamit yun ng Gabay. Kasi gagamitin nyo to eh. So kailangan gagamit kayo ng tools, technology tools, AI tools, aligned sa goals nyo as an institution. Whether may bibisita na accreditor or wala, Pero pag may bubisitang accreditor, ang gandang is showcase na ang school ninyo ay 21st century because you are adept with technology that is rooted, aligned to your school goals and values.
Yun. Thank you, Sir Jim. Again, overwhelming po ang response ng ating mga participants for today. I hope hindi po masasaktan yung hindi namin nasagot yung tanong. Keep them coming kasi dun po sa ating evaluation, pwede rin po nyo ilagay yung inyong mga questions doon. Thank you, Sir Jim, for diligently answering all the questions of our participants. Let's give Sir Jim again another round of applause for this wonderful morning sharing with us the ethical issues of using AI tools. At before we finally end, okay, tell us about what you thought of today's event in the evaluation form. The link is presented is actually on the screen right now, as well as in the comment section. Okay, the tech team is helping us. Okay, please answer the evaluation form because it is very necessary for claiming your digital certificates. Please don't forget to follow our social media pages. So you can, again, like what I've said, you can navigate the use of our Gabay, the teacher's sidekick, and then there's a section there that you can leave your comment on how you used Gabay. Okay, so don't worry, your questions through the evaluation, okay, at the end of the day, tomorrow, we will talk about all of them again. And we are always looking into the feedback and the questions of our participants because we believe that these questions and feedback will actually help us, okay, in helping you to become better teachers as well and to unload some of your very, very heavy load as a teacher like me. And so that ends our session for today. Thank you everyone who has joined us today. We hope that you learned many things, okay, from Sir Jim in sharing with us his topic for today. Okay, so again, follow us on our social media pages if you haven't yet, so you don't miss out anything TagPros Education. Always visit our FB page for updates. Finally, teach your passion and let TagPros Gabay, the teacher's sidekick, be your teacher partner in empowering our teaching experience. In TagPros Education, we care about the well-being of the teachers. We are here to help you. Again, together with the TagPros Education team and our great speaker for today, Sir Jim, and the technical support, thank you for joining us today. Again, I'm Tess Bautista. It's a pleasure to be with you today. God bless you all, and please stay safe always. Bye for now.